hello. We are back. And we are back in our weekly sessions with GitTrends and mobile UI UX redesign. And here we have Brandon, as always, our special guest.
Hey, Luis, good to
And
see you
also,
again.
yeah, it's been such a long time. I don't even have the intro down anymore, but we're getting there. We also have another special guest, Saamer, visiting us, and we're going to be looking at the new features we're going to be developing. And yeah, welcome, Saamer.
Thank you for inviting me, Luis, and great to see you guys again. Brendan and Luis, always great to hear from you guys, and so it's good to be on the other side now.
Yeah.
Same.
Our show is going international now because Samir, guys, he is in Canada. We're down here in the US, and we're like in each side of the US, so we're like covering the whole, region.
North America.
Yeah.
We just need someone from Mexico, maybe.
Yeah, and someone from the Caribbean, and then we have like the whole map.
Yeah, and then eventually we'll just get like people from every country.
Yeah. So yeah, Brandon, tell us a little bit about what we're gonna be seeing today, and what's happening with GitTrends. I saw some emails from the repo with an interesting pull request. So yeah, give them a little of a rundown.
Yeah. So for anybody who hasn't had the chance to check out GitTrends, that's the app we're working on today and have been working on for, it's been about a year now. You can get it at gittrends.com. So GITTRENDS.com. And it's an app that helps you keep track of all your GitHub repos. So it kind of started from, I have a couple hundred open source repos on GitHub, and I never really kept up with how many views, clones each repo was getting. So I never really knew which were, we'll say, the popular repos, which also should be like, which repos am I keeping up to date? If this one's getting all the views, then I should probably make sure that code doesn't go stale. And so I created GitTrends probably about a year and a half ago, and it was very functional. It worked. And I figured, instead of this just being a sample app, let me push it to the App Store. And if anybody else wants to use it, great. So I kind of pushed this beta version of it. And that's when Luis downloaded it, checked it out, and was like, hey, this is a great app. Do you mind if I help you make it look a little bit better? And so that's so yeah, like I like to say the app before we did the redesign, it was very functional, but it didn't look great. So now it's functional and it looks great. And so yeah, you can use the app to see all of your repos, how many views, clones, forks, issues, stars you're getting. It'll let you know if a repo is trending. So maybe somebody published a blog post about your app, and now all these people are being driven to your open source repo. It'll send you a push notification to say, hey, this repo is trending. And for me, that's kind of my cue, is like, oh, let me go make sure that code's up to date. So that's been great. The app's been in the App Store for about a year now. We've gotten awesome reviews. It's also totally open source. We've gotten awesome contributions from the community. Both Saamer and Luis have contributed, so thank you. And one of the biggest requests we've gotten is, how can I see not just my repos, not the repos I created under my name, but how can I also see repos for organizations that I belong to? So, for example, I work at Microsoft, used to work at Xamarin, and so on GitHub, I'm in the Microsoft organization. I'm in the .NET organization. I'm in the Xamarin organization, and there's some repos in there that I contribute to a lot. And I agree, it would be really cool to be able to see not just my personal repos, but also the ones I contribute to for work, or, Saamer works a lot on a lot of open source projects like Prism as well, and Prism's an org. So I get it. I don't disagree that we should have had organization support in there from the start. But finally got around to it. And the the feature's almost ready. So I reached out to Luis again because I was like, hey, man, check out the user experience for this new organizations feature. And in the nicest way possible, he's like, why don't we tweak that a little bit? That's not great. We can make it better. And I don't disagree. So we're going to check that out live on the show today. We'll walk through the workflow. You'll probably hear me complain a lot about GitHub's authentication flow and all this stuff works because we could do better, GitHub.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll check it out today. Hopefully we'll get it done because even once it's done, this app has been translated into, oh gosh, is it 9 languages, 12 languages? Lots of languages, and none of which do
10, I think.
Yeah, and none of which do I speak. I'm the dumb American that only speaks English. So once we get the new UX in place, then we'll have to reach out to all our friends in the community to see if we can update, for example, like the French translation, Spanish translations. We have Turkish, we've got Bosnian, Dutch, German, all sorts of languages in there. So even once we get done today, we'll still have a couple steps before we can push to the App Store. But oh gosh, what are we, June 9th today? We could probably do this by the end of June. Updates in the App Store by the end of the June. Seems doable.
Yep. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
All right. So I think the next thing we should do is probably have a little walkthrough of like the GitTrends app on how the state of it is right now. So people can have like a little refresher of how the app looks, where we're and what you have so far with the organization feature. And also we can also start talking a bit about like how is it actually working behind the scenes, right? And Saamer, have you had any experience before with like the GitHub APIs working in one of your projects?
I haven't necessarily used the GitHub APIs, but while looking to contribute to the GitTrends app, I did take a look at like all the stuff that's going on and the the limitations, and then basically one of the biggest issues that I foresee is the fact that GitHub only gives us 14 days of information, and so that's only so useful because, just like Brandon said, it could be trending at one point in the year but not in the other, so like it doesn't give you a fair representation. You can't just multiply by 26 to know how many people have viewed your repository.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, so, that's an awesome point. I'm glad you brought that up, Saamer, because all the data in this app is already available to everybody on GitHub. It's just not easily accessible. Like you have to drill down into 3 or 4 menus in each repo individually to find these stats. And that was kind of the big impetus for me to make this app. I was like, I don't want to have to do that for 50, 100 repos. It would take me all day. But at the same time, all that data that we're just pulling for free from the GitHub APIs, they don't give us all the data. They only give us 14 days worth of views and clones information, but they'll give you a lifetime's worth of star history. It's just like I said, it's the funness of the GitHub APIs.
So let me put your screen up, Brandon, so we can show the GitTrends app. Let me see.
I was trying to get the simulators up and running before we got going. I'm hitting this fun bug. I'm sure other folks have seen this, Visual Studio for Mac, where it doesn't show me my simulators.
Oh, really?
Have you seen that? Like it?
Yeah, it's so
I have
weird.
Xcode installed. Xcode has all the simulators. Like, here's my
and you think like, okay, you close the project, you open it, and then you come back, and it's like no simulators. You think, oh, maybe I messed up some configuration, but no, it's actually just Visual Studio decided to not pick them up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they changed, but it seems to be a little slow. I just did.
Sorry, something's wrong. Please try again.
Well, did you hear that?
Yeah.
I was
Siri's trying
steering
to
on my
assist
watch.
them with getting the simulators.
Worst case scenario, I have my iPhone here. I can plug it in. Well,
Oh yeah.
let me go ahead and grab that iPhone cable now while we're chatting about it, because this will be
All right.
probably a second or two before the Android build finishes. So one sec.
Yeah. I can start showing the PR as well while we get random back.
Oh yeah,
Then
I can pull that up on the screen since I'm
turn.
sharing.
Oh, there it is. All right, you're back.
Let's see.
Perfect.
All right, let's go to GitTrends.com, which just redirects you to the GitHub repo. It's
Yeah.
someday I'll make a
Hey,
website for it.
at least we have a domain. No one can take the name.
That's
PRs
exactly what I was thinking.
accepted.
Exactly. Yeah, if somebody wants to make a website for it, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Display organizations. Ugh. 44 files changed. Nothing scary about that. There we go. Make the font a little bit bigger. Wait for Safari to become unfrozen.
I actually have a good template for that website.
Oh, nice. Well, that's gonna be the next contribution then.
That'd be cool.
I just hate web development.
Make a Blazor app.
No, like a simple HTML, CSS, JavaScript.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have like all the screenshots and stuff, so it will
Exactly.
be
Yeah, a simple,
pretty straightforward to
redirect.
it. Yeah.
All
That
right.
way you can
So
also get the advantage of SEO. Go on.
yeah, very true. So one of the first things I did, because actually let me zoom way out. I jump over to GitHub, because you have to enable organization access for your apps. And so what that means is if you go into your GitHub settings, let's bump up the font size a little bit, and under applications, these are all the apps that I've essentially authorized to work with my GitHub account. And so specifically, if I go to authorized OAuth apps, in here is GitTrends. And so like when you sign into GitTrends, you sign in via your GitHub account, via OAuth 2, and it's going through this app. And what you then have to do is to be able to request access from every organization which you, well, either which you belong to or which you want this app to have access to. So it's kind of funky, but so you can see where like I've requested access to the Xamarin org. I mean, I requested that months ago. It's probably never going to happen, understandably so. But I made my own GitTrends org and I gave myself access, so you can see a little check mark there. But yeah, so one thing you have to do is come in here and enable this access. And there's not a great way to do it that I could find via the GitHub APIs. Like the authorization flow just authorizes your account, and then the user will have to manually come in here and request access from all their orgs, unless their orgs automatically grant access. Looks like that's still loading.
So wait, so even if I request it, I can't see it in GitTrends until the org grants me the access, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and it depends just how your org is set up. Like some orgs will automatically grant access. Some, like the Microsoft org, is a little more locked down, so you have to request it, and they'll never grant it to you unless you have like a really good business reason for it. So, so the interesting thing with this, maybe you can see it here in the URL, but this URL, github.com/settings/connection/application/ this ID. This ID is the client ID for my OAuth application. So we will see in a bit once I get the app up and running that we have to kind of shoehorn this workflow into the app. Like this is the only way we can get users to in the app grant permission. So what I'm doing now, and yeah, we'll see it once I get the app up and running, is that we take the user in a web view to this page so that they can tap on and request access. Because otherwise, in the settings page, they could toggle it. They could say, yep, I want to enable all my organizations, or I want to enable GitTrends to show me the organizations. But nothing will show up until you grant access. And that's not really a good user experience. We'll end up getting, 1-star reviews because people are like, I enabled organizations, but nothing happened, kind of thing. So here is, this is just my iPhone. So here's what that workflow looks like now.
By the way, do we also record this for YouTube?
Yep. Yeah.
Right
once it's finished in Twitch, I upload the recording to YouTube and then we share it again. Yep.
So if any of these organizations had given me access, we would see them here on the screen. They haven't. I can show you a demo where where you can see there the organizations in this chart. But here's the new UI we're talking about. So this little toggle here that says include organizations, it will be false by default. That I made that decision because we need to walk the user through requesting this access. And so what it looks like right now is when you enable it, it'll say organization access must be manually granted via the GitHub portal. And if you've already done that, great. You can tap the already done button. It'll dismiss it. But if you haven't, then I say, okay, let's go. And so this launches this page we see here in my browser. But look at how, well, you'll see in a second. So there's another pop-up here because the mobile display for this page is terrible. So you have to scroll all the way down. So I wanted to add another pop-up that just says like, hey, FYI, you got to scroll down and tap request access. Because I didn't want this page to appear and somebody's like, you just took me to a GitHub menu, especially on a smaller screen. So yeah, you have to scroll down and then you'll see the same web page. I spent a lot of time trying to get it to do the auto scroll, but there's just no way to do that with this is SF Safari view controller. Basically, the whole reason of using the SF Safari view is that the developer doesn't have access to anything that goes on inside it. So like I can't, like, it's totally separate from the app. The app can't do anything. And so yeah, we have to bring the user to this page. We got to get him to scroll down, and then we have to get him to tap these request buttons.
What you could do, Brandon, is maybe you can take a look at what the ID is of GitTrends, perhaps, and then just in the URL, just put in that ID, so then it goes to the page and it scrolls down. So it doesn't do that.
So spent literally hours trying to figure that out because there are IDs, but the only IDs on this page are, let's see if I get, oh, there it goes, are for the organization. So if I jump to the organization, or actually, how did I do this? There's a control F somewhere. Was it here? ID equals. But yeah, each of these organizations has an ID in HTML.
And so potentially you could just, so essentially internal, so there's external referencing and there's internal referencing, isn't it? Like internal linking or external linking. And so external linking, you have to have the URL, and then like internal linking, you just need to have the ID. And so you can just say hash something. I'm sure you've tried it, but
so yeah.
Oh, yeah. It seems like it doesn't have an ID. It's just a class. Yeah.
There's an ID somewhere. Well, oh, here we go. Here's all the IDs. You see the OAuth request container?
Oh, okay.
So at the end of it, that's the organization ID. And so these div IDs are going to be unique for every user. It's not like every user belongs to the same org and we could jump to that one org. So definitely open to more ideas. If anybody can crack this nut, if anybody can figure this out, because I spent half a day trying to get the browser to jump. But yeah, so just to kind of show off what Saamer was saying, in case anybody hasn't played around with IDs and the URL, let's see if I can copy this. If you, here, let's go ahead and, go ahead and scroll up. If I do like the pound sign and say that, then there you go. It jumps straight to that ID.
Yeah.
But that ID is unique to the organization's ID.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't have.
And so, like,
which organization they have.
Maybe I could like make a HTTP request, do HTML scraping, find an ID of one of your companies. Actually, that's probably not a bad idea.
Okay.
That might work. But
yeah, but
so for now, I just have this.
Is it worth it?
Yeah. That's pretty
Right,
good.
for now, I just
Pretty
have
good
this.
so far. We just had to talk to Nat Friedman
annoying
now.
pop-up.
We send him
Yeah,
a
right?
recording of the video and be like, Nat, we need this feature
it.
now. Fix it.
So yeah, that's why you get this pop-up that says like scroll to organization access, in which again, it's not a great user experience, and hopefully we can make this better. But here's the rub. I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a second. Let's see if we can do this without giving away all my personal information. So this is the official GitHub app. So if you download the GitHub app from the iOS or Android stores, this is what you'll get. And so check out what happens when I sign in to the GitHub app. Like, check out this authorization flow, because this is what I want, but it's not giving it to me. So let's do that. We'll grab two-factor. That's probably should. Whoop.
Yeah.
Take that off the screen real quick. I love you guys, but we're streaming live on the internet. Who knows?
Tomorrow we get a call from Brandon.
Give me all
hey
your
guys,
money.
I just lost access to everything.
Whoops. Ooh, I did
Remember
that on
that
the demo
stream
once.
we had?
Literally at the Xamarin Developer Summit, I was given a talk on GraphQL. Actually, the GitHub GraphQL APIs was what I used in the demo. And I had to hard code my bearer token in Postman. And somebody caught it. And like, luckily they didn't do anything malicious. They just like opened up an issue and said like, hey, Brandon, just FYI, this token's been compromised. I was like, oh, thank you. And like immediately revoked it.
Yeah.
But anyways, check out what happens when I verify my two-factor auth. Right away, it asks me to sign in my organizations.
Oh.
And I have no idea how to get to this workflow. I've literally reverse engineered this app, because like I can hear my iPhone, I can say open in Safari.
Yeah. Copy
and so
URL.
I can there's this app here that says view source. So I've looked at the source code. I'm doing everything exactly the same.
Dang.
But what's great about this, and this is what I want, like I want GitTrends to do this, because then I can just tap authorize. It takes me to like my Microsoft login. I guess I already logged in with Microsoft.
Did you try to like find someone who created the GitHub app?
I haven't. And so, but what's frustrating for me is I have no idea why that's going on, because I'm literally hitting the same exact, I'm doing the same exact auth flow. Like I said, like I opened up, sorry, Siri keeps trying to talk to us. I did packet sniffing, like everything. I'm doing everything exactly the same. It's almost as if this is my guess, that my GitTrends OAuth app, this one that we're looking at here in the settings, it's almost as if there's a special setting somewhere that's not documented anywhere, because all the GitHub app is doing is the same OAuth flow, just using their OAuth app. And I can't figure it out. Like I even tried like upgrading to an enterprise account and like paying that like $100 a month to see if that was the secret. But like if we can figure that out, then
Yeah, we have it.
this whole stream becomes moot, because then we don't have to launch the browser. We don't have to have these like awkward pop-ups to say like scroll to the bottom. But
Yeah.
I can't figure it out. So again, like weeks of my life spent trying to figure this out for lovely users around the world of GitTrends.
So, in terms of like, okay, if we can get that OAuth flow that GitHub somehow is the GitHub app is somehow using, I would say immediately my first idea to make the UI better would be that we need to do some type of like onboarding specifically for that, like a little, you know how some apps do like mini tutorials on how to enable certain things. So we could do like,
Oh yeah,
take them to a page that has like 2 slides or 3, and show them like, hey, you're gonna tap this button, you're gonna come to the page, you're gonna scroll down, or like have a video like we have in the onboarding, something like that, and then allow them to enable it.
That makes a lot of sense. Let me see if I can show you. We'll compare and contrast here. Or is the Android simulator working?
I think, maybe if we can potentially like reach out to support, possibly, and just show them, the snippet of this YouTube video and be like, hey, do you know how I can get this to work? And then they can give us a more certain answer. Oh no, that's not possible, or oh yes, that is possible. Like, hey, how did you guys implement this?
Yeah. And
but then again,
like I said, like if that was the OAuth flow,
works on. So who's the team that works on the GitHub app? Do any of you guys know who's in charge of the GitHub bubble effort? Right
so this is what I was thinking. Just go to LinkedIn and look for people. Just say like iOS developer and look for people who currently work for GitHub. And just message them and be like, hey, I had a question. How did you guys do this? And then they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm not the right person. You can talk to this person,
Well, the thing is, it's not just the GitHub app. So it's not like GitHub has this secret auth flow, because there's even like here's another app. This is I still have installed. Yeah. So this app's called CodeHub. This is actually built in Xamarin iOS. It was
What?
Yeah, it's totally open source too. Shout out to CodeHub. We should probably, let's see.
I like their little octopuses.
CodeHub. Like this was my go-to GitHub app before GitHub launched their official app, because well, it's a great app. There it is. Boom. So totally open source, built in Xamarin iOS, and it's got like hundreds of stars, if not thousands. Great ratings. But anyways, so check out what happens here. So again, github.com. And
yeah, they have this.
We'll pull this off the screen. Not doing anything funny, I promise. Just probably wise not to share passwords.
Yeah.
Let's see. So there's my account. Go.
It was updated last 13 months ago.
Yeah, I think it's kind of abandoned now that GitHub put them out of business.
Yeah, I mean, it was only iOS.
Boom. Actually, let me go back a step.
Yeah,
so,
you see they have.
Damn.
Oh shoot!
Can we see their code?
So we can't.
It is. It's totally open source. And again, just like I did with the official GitHub app, completely deconstructed this, and we're doing the same auth flow. So, so maybe somebody or the owner.
Did you ask the guy himself who created the CodeHub app?
I have not. So I haven't asked anybody other than trying to like, beat my head against a brick wall for a month figuring this out. But yeah, so like same as the GitHub app, I type that in, and then immediately it's like sign on with your organizations. Like, that's exactly what I want.
Wait, so it's talking about single sign-on. Do they have any specific thing related to that in the documentation? Like, are you using single sign-on or something?
No. So, and I don't know if it's just like the GitHub docs are out of date, but there's nothing about this anywhere in the docs. Because this is SSO SAML, SAML is what it's using. And I've combed through everything I can think of in the GitHub docs to figure this out. And that's kind of how we got to where we are today with this UX, because that's the UX I want. what like CodeHub does, what the GitHub app does, that's what I want. But I'm doing the same exact thing. Nothing's different. Like there's not even like a URL parameter or anything that's different. Like help.
Yeah. I'm looking.
What am I doing?
So it seems like his navigation, like for his OAuth flow, he's using like dylanbuchanan.com. So are we have our own OAuth page as well?
No. So this is just the OAuth flow that GitHub provides. I was trying to find that authorization URL. Must be buried somewhere else. But yeah, it's something like github.com/authorize or /OAuth/authorize or something like that. And
it's
every app's doing the same thing.
For some reason, it seems like he has his own OAuth login. Like the redirect URI is like http dylanbuchanan.com. So maybe he's implementing the web view on his own website, and so you perform the entire OAuth through his flow, and so and then at the end of all of that, he so if you go over there and you look at line 12, you see redirect URI is his own domain. And so there's probably the GitHub domain redirect inside his redirect. So it's like
I did go down that rabbit hole.
5.0.
But so I think my guess here is this is just his what do you call it? The app ID. It's like mine is GitTrends : // and that launches the app from the web app. I think this is just what he's using. Like, let's see if we crack open the info P list, we should be able to see that real quick. And the reason I say that is when the GitHub app does this, let's see. So that's the bundle identifier. Yeah. So that's just his CF bundle URL name. Oh wait,
yeah, but it's different. Yeah, it is different.
Okay.
Wait, let's try going to that URL actually. So I'm just going to take it and try to put it in my browser. And I'm just going to put like random numbers instead. So, /login /OAuth, and then
Dylan, save us. Yeah, it's just his homepage for his blog. So yeah, the reason I don't think that's the solution is the GitHub app. Let me show you. I'm gonna log back out and get to. Since I'm sharing my screen. No, sign out. There we go. Sign out anyways. All right, so if I view the source code for this is the GitHub web view authorization web view. We'll give this a minute. This is a cool, I don't know where I found it. It's a Apple iOS shortcut, but it'll give you the source code for any web page you're at. Let me share this over to my computer here. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
So this is the source code for that page. So we can literally see, here's the URL. And let me open this in a text editor. I can see it a little bigger. All right, because the URL has the redirect link in it. It's a little bit obfuscated because it's all like, oh, that doesn't look good. Let's see. Can I get rid of word wrapping? Wrap to page? Don't wrap to page? Oh, what was that? Wrap to window?
Oh yeah.
Oh, just no wrap. Whatever. So here, let's do this. I can deconstruct this as well. Let's see. URL decode. Is that how I got to it last time? Yeah. So we can, let's see. So that makes it a little bit better. And then parts of this still have, there you go. So let's grab this now. We can replace return to. All right, everything looks normal now. So let's pull this up side by side with my code, or our code in GitTrends. So they're going to the login page. So this is a little different. So their return URL goes then to login/oauth/authorize. So they're eventually going to login/oauth/authorize. And before you ask, yep, totally tried this with GitTrends.
Can you send me this?
The URL here?
Yeah, it's amazing. Where did you get this from? Wait, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Is this your app or is this the...
This is the official GitHub app. This is
nice.
The URL where you log in. So so the login opens up an SF Safari View Controller. I basically just viewed the source code for that page. And when you do that, not only do you get the source, you also get the URL for it. So, so you provide your client ID. They're also saying allow signup equals false. So I guess if you don't have a GitHub account, you can't create one in the app, which, okay, weird decision made by the GitHub mobile team. Again, tried that. It didn't affect anything. But basically, yeah, you're just passing the client ID. You tell it what scopes you want. The state is just a unique GUID for each user's session so that there's no man-in-the-middle attacks that happen. And yeah, so there's nothing, there's nothing different about what I'm doing.
What about what says admin org plus read discussion user?
Those are the scopes. So like if I go to
so do you
constant,
have the org scope?
Yeah, no, he has his scope fine. Yeah. He has his scope fine.
Read org.
Yeah, the scope, it definitely seems to be fine. It's just the only difference between the Code Hub and our app is that, you know, it seems like for Code Hub he just has a different he's just doing it on his own website as well.
Yeah. And so is that a red herring? I don't know, but like deconstructing the GitHub app that also has that like authorize organizations during the login flow, deconstructing that to find out I'm doing exactly everything exactly the same. I'm just out of ideas. So like I said, it was weeks of just like banging my head against the wall going like, what am I doing differently? And then eventually coming to the conclusion that for the OAuth flow, doing nothing different. And so that's where I went down the rabbit hole of like, is there like a setting that I can enable for my OAuth app in GitHub that says like, after the user logs in, take them to authorizing the organizations, but there was nothing that I could find. Like, so there's nothing documented. I'm just totally befuddled.
Yeah, I was going over the documentation for authorization right now, and yeah, it's literally the same thing you're doing. Like even the URL I'm seeing here is the same one we're getting from the GitHub app as well, but I don't know.
Your voice is kind of low.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, because my mic is on this side and I was talking over here. So I was looking at the GitHub API documentation, like the authorization part right now, and yeah, it's literally the same URL we're seeing here. So yeah.
Yeah, and even I feel comfortable sharing this. Hopefully, it doesn't backfire on me. But like, this is the OAuth app. So this is what you actually connect to when you log into GitHub via GitTrends. Well, that's kind of cool. Looks like we have almost 600 users now. Awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, there's no setting in here that says like automatically take them to the authorized organizations page.
Your application callback
I mean,
URL. Read over.
Yeah, the callback URL. So this is what I was alluding to earlier. Like this URL GitTrends : is unique to the GitTrends app. So if you have the GitTrends app installed on your phone and you open Safari and go to GitTrends : then it'll just launch the GitTrends app. So that's how I get back from the web view back to the app. But yeah, there's literally no settings in here that are like, allow this. I mean,
optional features.
Let me look at that off screen real quick to make sure there's nothing.
Yeah.
Optional features, literally nothing.
Oh, keep an eye on the blog for the future optional features.
And let's see what's in advanced. Oh, advanced is just to delete it. Definitely don't want to do that. So it's almost as if, and I have no idea.
Option?
But listed in the marketplace. I don't think we need to do that. But like,
check your, what was the app called you were using in iOS for GitHub?
Oh, CodeHub.
Yeah, let's see if they're in the marketplace.
GitHub Sharp.
That can be it.
C# client for the GitHub REST API. Redirect _URI.
So yeah, it's like there's a hidden setting somewhere that's not documented that I have no idea how to enable. And that is frustrating.
Yeah.
Because everything else is there. Like the code's there. Like if I just inject like you can just manually create a token and I can slap into the source code, and I've done that, then like that all works. I can see my organizations. So like everything's good. It's just this UX kind of sucks. Like the user experience in GitTrends is not going to be great for you to enable your organizations.
Okay, so Dylan Buchanan, is he on Twitter?
No idea.
Because apparently he has the answer to our question, and in C#. So
or maybe.
Most likely.
I hope so. I like where your mind's at. I'm
He's
for
on Twitter. Follow.
I just I could see him being like, no, I didn't do anything special to make that happen.
He is active on Twitter.
Imagine?
So okay, I'm tweeting to him.
Tell him to join the show.
Yeah, so we're live and we need.
Yeah, because I mean, this is a lot of work, obviously, and you know, if we get people used to this flow, and then there's actually an easier way of doing it, you know, like it'll make such a huge difference. So yeah. Luis Pujols.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I actually like the flow they have for that that you showed me that GitHub is using. Like it's everything really compact and straight to what we need.
Yeah,
so if
same.
we can get that, it's gonna be like perfect solution.
Are you Code Traveler on Twitter?
Yeah.
The Code Traveler.
Ah, okay.
Somebody already took Code Traveler. I thought about it because nobody's using whoever owns Code Traveler isn't using it. And so I thought about like, I don't think it would work, but like emailing Twitter support and be like, hey, like, can I have it?
Yeah.
I got a whole blog called codetraveler.io.
GitHub apps, OAuth flow
The same thing happened
We're not
for my.
able.
Wait, I just went to
figure
the
out
domain for Code Traveler, and literally it
why
just says nothing here.
Oh, is that .com?
It
Yeah.
does not
I've been trying to buy
take
it from
us
that guy, but he won't respond to me. That's why
Like-
that's why I use .io.
Like that's so mean. Literally, he
Org.
just has it to have the page white.
Yeah, he's
saying
just sitting
nothing.
Give it to me, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is, we're not able to figure out why during the OAuth login, it doesn't take us to the organization access page, isn't it?
Yeah.
We weren't able to figure out why. Okay. Why GitTrends? While yours does. Okay,
And you can,
so
you can tag
when's the
GitTrends
next
app on
time
Twitter too.
we can?
Oh yeah, you can
when's
tag GitTrends.
when's the next time we can do something like this again? Like next month, if he's available.
If he's available,
no,
I will make time for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
next week.
I probably won't
We can do-
cancel doctor's appointments or something like that.
Yeah.
Are you
There's just like a-
available
Friday,
Work
sometime
meetings?
Friday,
Nah.
or next Wednesday, or next Friday,
Wednesday? Are you available Wednesday,
or
6 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah,
We can find out when he's available. I don't know.
yeah. Whenever he's available,
Like,
we'll make.
is that
time.
I'll
Oh,
wake
yeah.
up at 2 a.m. if he lives on the other side of the world.
Are you
Happily.
available anytime after 6 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah.
Any day or time.
Yeah. In
Six
any place, if he's like, yeah, sure, we have to
Chat.
meet in person, travel over here. We're like, well,
So,
we have to think
yeah,
about
sure.
it.
so while Samir's typing
Hopefully
that out,
he's the right Dylan Buchanan.
Can you
He
imagine
sounds like-
this guy is like, I don't even code, dude. What are you talking about?
He's like, what? Who are these people? Who's this random? Like, what is Code Hub? I don't even know.
so
All right.
So, yeah,
Hopefully that solved
going-
the problem.
thank you, by
Yeah.
the way. So yeah, going way back at the beginning, we were looking at the PR, and the first file in that pull request was adding this Azure functions. Basically, it's just a get API, but basically, I always have this concern where anytime I rely on something from somebody else, I don't want to hard code it in the mobile app. I'd rather store it in the cloud behind an API, because if that company or person, whomever owns whatever external data I'm relying on, if they change this URL, then it will break my app. And the only way to fix it if it's hard coded in the app is then to
A new
push another
version,
version of the App Store, hope everybody updates, which some people do, some people don't. So yeah, I built a Azure Functions API that I just store that URL here in the cloud. So this looks like a lot of code. It's really not. It's just literally making sure that the URL is stored as an environment variable. Then, assuming it is, like, these are just kind of checking to make sure it's found. But yeah, if it is, then we just create the OK HTTP response, serialize it, write it, send it back. And so this way, if GitHub changes their settings page, we can just quickly change this on the back end. The app will still work buttery smooth. But I'd say the biggest effort was, let's see if I can find this on the fly.
We have, let's see. Oh, let me put your screen. We got a comment from Root Drake on the chat that he wants a little bit more zoom.
Oh, like bigger text.
Yeah.
Boop.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Hopefully that's better. I don't want to go too big because then you only see like 3 lines of code on the page.
Part.
You can see
So-
the pixels of the text.
So really, for all the business logic, what's different now is when this is my GitHub GraphQL API service class. And I always had this method called get repositories, which if you're using the demo, it'll just auto generate some demo data. But assuming you weren't, it would get all of your owned repositories. And we're doing async enumerables, so doing a wait for each loops and yield returns. So taking advantage of a lot of cool for the new hotness in C#. But what I added on was I checked this Boolean. So this is the same Boolean you set in the settings page to say, should we include organizations? Because if you do, it's going to take a little bit longer. I have to make another API call and do some more stuff. But so I won't do it if I don't have to. But then, yeah, we just call this get organization repositories. And there's because it's using GraphQL and there's pagination involved. The code looks a little scary because you have to check to see, like, is there a next page? And if you do, that's why we're going to do while loop, then do it again. So it looks a little weird, but basically, yeah, we're just looping through the GitHub organizations API instead of before, or still, like this owned repositories uses the GraphQL API for a specific user, whereas the same thing's basically happening here for organizations. So yeah, as far as like the business logic stuff is concerned, pretty straightforward. Like I said, this Boolean is just what's toggled on the settings page. So that's basically it. It's just making sure we have that good user experience for when they, or to get them to enable organizations. Because otherwise, I can see it where they enable organizations, they flip the toggle, they go back to the main page and they say, nope, my organizations still don't appear. 1 star. And it's like, okay, I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, the app's not showing the organizations, but it's like, you didn't authorize it for the GitTrends OAuth app. But like, I don't expect people to know that off the top of their head, which is why I want to kind of like nudge them that direction. So hopefully Dylan will save the day. I should start just blowing people up in GitHub, because I do know a couple of folks that work at GitHub. Just be like,
yeah,
help me.
You got this,
but also
Brandon.
don't steal my app.
yeah.
No one's gonna steal your app, Brendan.
What? So ironically, they did.
By the way, there's so Apple finally came up, like 12 years after like they started the App Store. They finally came up with this form that you can fill out to report someone else's app. So if someone steals your app,
no way,
you don't really have to worry about it. Yeah, continue. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say,
Nice.
So like a couple months after, because Luis and I were live streaming twice a week, working on updating the UI for this app. And it was like a couple weeks after we launched this awesome update. We were super proud of it. GitHub launched their iOS and Android apps. It was like, no, like now they have an army of engineers working on this app where like for this, it's, yeah, I mean, there's community contributions, but it's basically me and Luis.
I think GitTrends is not really replaced though. Like your app, has its own purpose that GitHub's app does not really solve.
Yeah, exactly. So until they bring in this data, we're still good.
We can still one up them, like because they don't have the same UI UX team. Just saying, Luis.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. they can buy it from me. They can license our intellectual property.
Yeah.
We'll split the proceeds amongst the contributors. It'll be great.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't have like they can probably, it'll be probably very, very difficult for them to get a Bosnian translator to translate their app into Bosnian.
Yeah.
Right?
Like I don't even think GitHub comes in Bosnian.
But ours does.
Hell yeah. Look at that.
Like none of us can read it, but it looks great. That's the ironic thing with
the star UI.
Oh yeah, here we'll use one with a little bit more stars here. So this was the last greatest feature. I should probably put this back to English. Sorry to our Bosnian friends that are watching. Whoops, that's wrong button. There we go.
Hey, Brendan
So-
and Luis, I have to get going in 5 minutes. Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
no,
Sorry about that. Yeah.
we didn't even talk about. We should probably just do another episode.
Your future. If you want, join us in the next one, and we
Sure.
can go straight into your topic, which is give them a little bit of a summary of or a preview of what we're gonna be talking with you.
Yeah, sure. So, I wrote an article some months ago that became kind of popular, where you essentially use Google Sheets as your backend database, and essentially, I created this game app, and the leaderboard of that game app is a Google Sheets, file. And so Google Sheets has this feature where you can get to like scripts editor. And so I was thinking, perhaps we can use that to where each individual user who's interested in storing their data can potentially, create a Google Sheet, and then we allow them to place their API key, or like not the API key, just the URL that the Google Sheet provides, and then essentially you can enable storage of your data into that Google Sheet potentially, and then because there's only we have 14 days of data anyway, so with 26 rows you can have the entire year's worth of data, and so it's
interesting.
pretty viable.
Yeah, definitely something we should look into in the next episode and see how you implemented it also in your app. If you want, give a brief shout out to the app you just released. It's a really interesting game. I really liked it. I'm currently the high score in the hard version and in the medium difficulty. So anybody in the chat that wants to try and beat me can go ahead. But you're not gonna get it, okay?
Yeah,
I'm
so
currently the only pro player of the new game.
yeah, so essentially, my wife and I, mostly my wife, she built this game called Number Bomb, and it's just one word. So there's no space in between, and it's on iOS and Android. It's built with Xamarin Forms. So definitely check it out. We just published it yesterday, and so that's June 8th. Yeah, so Number Bomb.
Let me see.
It's a fun little game. I placed a link in the StreamYard chat as well. Yeah, there we go. So it's available on Mac OS as well for M1 users.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then you can like swipe through
really nice.
different. Yeah, it's nicer on the iPhone, obviously. So it's pretty intuitive. Like if you're 5-6 years old, you can kind of understand what needs to be done. But then obviously the older you are, the more competitive it gets, because there's also like a medium and a hard difficulty. So it's kind of fun. And just try to beat Luis. But yeah, I mean, if you want, actually, I can share with you guys like what that leaderboard looks like on a Google Sheet.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys want to see that?
Sure, right now. Do you have the time?
Yeah. Let me just share it with you. Let me see if the link is Number Bomb leaderboard. It is pretty, like I would say ratchet, but I don't know if that's the right word. Let's see. Only people with the link. Let me share it in the chat. Just see if you can open it.
All right. Oh, Brandon, since you're sharing,
sure.
You can try and open it.
Let's see what happens. Whew,
wait. So if we have access to that
file. Yep.
Added. Oh wait, hold on. Change to anyone with link can view. Okay, just try to refresh, perhaps.
Sure.
So that means anyone can just go from the admin team and put a new high score there?
No, I mean, yeah, like that's like any other database, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where'd it go? There it is. Let me try and
did you get
obfuscate this link. Yeah, I just want to obfuscate the link since you just opened it up to the world.
It doesn't matter. It's just a view. It's
Oh, it's
just
view
view
only. Okay.
access. Yeah.
Yeah, view
Yeah.
only.
All right.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, nice.
Oh, hey, someone actually beat you.
What?
Luis,
Busted.
so people have been beating you.
Hey, they took
You're not number
my
one
challenge
anymore.
too hard. And he
Well.
did it in 3 tries. Oh my god. That means he only gets 2 times out of the 5. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. So I'll spend the rest of the night after the stream trying to beat that guy so I can retake my throne as the only pro player of Number Bomb. They're gonna
right.
sponsor me soon.
You have to now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so if you look at it, Brandon, it's pretty simple, you know, and like that basically updates like in less than a second whenever you finish the game, essentially. And then it does a
Yeah.
post call and a get call. So the get is basically to load for each page, and post is for updating the score.
Yeah. I mean, well, we can dive way deeper into that. I know you're
Yes.
running low on time.
Yes.
I'm curious
Yeah.
about like how many rows can you manage? Like, are there like
Yeah.
API rate limits that Google enforces? But yeah, we can chat all about that. That'll be an awesome show.
Yep. All right. Thank you guys. I will
right,
talk
thank
to you
you,
guys
sir.
soon. Hopefully, Dylan Buchanan was the right one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have a LinkedIn. I tried to stalk him on LinkedIn. He doesn't have a LinkedIn.
I went to his site. And
Dylan,
I
if you're
see he
watching,
only
it's all about
has-
love.
Yeah, he only has a GitHub and a Gmail, and I think it's
email.
super-
Yeah, perfect. I will
Yeah,
email
so-
him as well. All right, guys.
All right, take care.
Take care. See you guys next time.
See you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So let's go back to GitTrends.
All right. Like, so now what do we? So
Now, yeah, I think we should at least. That's a good idea. Like reaching out to the GitHub employees that work with their app and ask them. But I think it's also worth it to try and find a second option, right? So I would say let's try and think about how would we go about educating the user, right, on how he's gonna enable those options. I mean, the access for the organization.
Yeah, I like that idea that you pitched about basically just displaying a GIF because we do that already in the onboarding. So that's how we show people how to zoom and scroll in the charts. And yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to, instead of having these like just kind of cheesy little pop-ups, that when you enable it, instead of having this little almost, it kind of looks like an error message, right? If you don't look at it closely. Instead of that popping up, that little error message, that we could pop up a modal that displays a little GIF of like what to expect, or maybe we take you to another page. Because yeah, it's just so frustrating how like shoehorned I am with like this.
And then when it loads, look at the zoom level that it loads.
Oh, it's terrible. Like if we could hide this menu up here at the top, then it wouldn't be as bad. Like if it opened up directly to this, then it's like the title, organization access, and it at least make a little bit more sense. But yeah, this is frustrating.
So yeah, let me share my screen and let's see how that could look. Let's see. Let me open Adobe XD here. Could you send me a screenshot of what you have on the settings page right now?
Sure.
And that way I can put it in our Adobe XD.
This.
Let's see if this works.
And let's do one more screenshot. All right, let's see if I can put these in a DM on the old Twitters.
All right, share screen.
Copy. Paste.
All right. I think my screen should be visible.
So is that
now.
one photo or all the photos? Oh, okay. So that's one at a time. Copy, paste,
Alright.
send.
I think I'm getting those screenshots now. Let's see. Oh yeah. Copy. Okay.
Oh, you know what? You're on. Well, doesn't matter. Like most of the other ones are Android.
No,
I can take a
doesn't
screenshot
matter,
on
because
Android.
we just want to see how it looks right now, and then I can just copy one of these, and then because we want to think about the models and all of that, I don't need to mimic the settings page right now. So we can
Fair enough.
kind of brainstorm how the wireframe is gonna be, and then I can make it like more how it's gonna look, right? One. So how many are they? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4. All right. We have number 3 and number 4. All right. So now I can take both of these, make them small. Now let's zoom in. All right. So here is the current flow we have. All right. So we enabled here, then we get this message that says grant organization access. Organization access must be manually granted via the GitHub portal. All right. Then, okay, we get another notification, scroll to the bottom, and then we get this. All right, see how it looks. Okay. And then here you said are going to pop up all the organizations you're part of. And then you tap on this button. And what?
Yep.
You get what? An email to your... Or
Oh, what happens when you tap the button?
Yeah.
Let me grab a screenshot of that. Oops. I was trying to tap on the screenshot I sent you instead of being inside the app. All right, let's try that again. All right, so when you tap the request button, let's see. Share this. Basically, you get a little pop-up. There we go. So just sent that to you.
I think I got it. Okay, so then this pops up.
And again, it really just depends on your organization settings. So sometimes, or you can set your organization just to auto approve. You can set your organization to say, nope, you got to require 2-factor authentication. In this case, yeah, Microsoft's pretty locked down, which not surprising.
Okay.
I'd be more surprised if they weren't.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I have access to everything now. Cool.
So after you tap this button, the owner is gonna get an email. So until he approves that, you won't be able to see on GitTrends anything, right? Anything different.
Right. So that's why right now in the app, when I launch it, I only see the repos I have push access to, which is the default. But once you enable organizations and organizations have approved your request, then you'll see all of their repos as well that you have push access to. So there's still always going to be that caveat. And it's just the way GitHub works. Like you can't, for whatever reason, they don't share those insights, the number of views, number of clones with anybody who, or they don't share that with you unless you have push, essentially write access to the repo. So like if you only have read access, then you still won't be able to see it. Which I'm waiting for the 1-star review from that someday, because I can see that be confusing for folks. Like, one of my repos isn't showing. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. Did you do this?
Exactly. Let me try and duplicate this.
Yeah, you'll notice I reorganized the settings page a little bit, because adding in the second toggle, yeah, you can kind of see the difference there. Well, plus this is iOS versus Android, but yeah, adding in that second toggle to the bottom just made it look messy.
I get it.
And so now we have, like, we'll call them buttons. The buttons on the right kind of expand in their width as you go down. So it starts with the arrow, then you get the switches, and then you get the
I like it. I
the
like
pickers.
how you organize here. Yeah,
which is
makes sense.
But it's also ironic because we spent a lot of time like strategically placing everything based on priority,
we
based
were
on
like the about
the
should
thumb
be
for the user.
always on the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
I remember.
But now I moved it to the top.
Yeah, and I mean it makes sense. I think that's why it's always good to make like your AWSD project and always revisit the design, because in this point in time it made total sense to have it structured like this. But now that we have more of the same elements, not only one, now it's like if I literally do this, they're gonna see what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's duplicate it. And what you did was, wow, how do you make it fit here?
I'm also on a those screenshots are from a iPhone Pro Max, so it's got the big display.
Okay.
But
all right.
Yeah, in code, this is just a scroll view.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, this is what you added, and then you added another one of these. And yeah, totally. Look how like immediately it looks like messy, right? It's all around. Like what it makes no sense that you have like an arrow here, a switch here, then pickers, then an arrow again. Like, yeah.
Yeah, because having the about at the bottom didn't look weird, because it's like, nobody's really going to tap it. It's kind of out of the way. That's how most pages do it. Like the about page isn't like the focus or focal point. But then, yeah, adding the switch to the bottom.
You also changed the logout text, right?
Or
was it always disconnect? I don't remember.
Yeah. I mean, it's disconnect right there and the light theme.
No, I just changed it. I updated.
Oh, you just changed it. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I haven't touched it.
Yeah, then I just had them in the UI like this, but in the app we had them as disconnect. Yeah.
Right, shoot. I'm sure there's a stream somewhere we could dig up, but yeah, I remember talking about that. And have no recollection why we chose disconnect instead of logout. Is it something with the demo user? Like, if you're in a demo, you're not really logging out. So disconnect was kind of a neutral term that we could use for both signed in users and demo users. I don't know.
I currently do not recollect why we decided it, but it looks good. I actually prefer it to log out, so it's working.
All right. So yeah, the only thing I think is a little weird is the disconnect button. I mean, it used to be at the top, and that made a lot of sense because like when you log out, then like your avatar goes away, and it makes sense to have like, because that's also the log in button when you're not connected, and so it makes sense to have that connect disconnect button at the very top. But I don't know. I chose to put the about at the top because, again, like from like a reachability, usability standpoint, it's easier for your thumb to tap things closer to the bottom. I was also kind of kicking around the idea of like maybe I move the login, log out button to the toolbar. But would that be super obvious?
What,
I don't
the
know.
login? No, I don't like. I never liked it. They're like in apps that I've used that they have it there. I don't know why, but it doesn't make much sense to me. Just having like the little icon here, because what
Right.
does it
And
mean? Like, yeah.
and it would be the only icon in the toolbar. So like your eye's going to be drawn to all the toggles and the settings in
Yeah.
the main part of the page. But then we have like one random button without any text just hidden in the toolbar.
Yep. Yeah, so I finished updating. Let's see, something is not property space, I think. All right, now we have a bit more real what we have. I'll just put it there. Okay, let me hide these guides. And I like, how do you hide the guides? View guides. Okay. Perfect. All right. So this is what we had to work with. So the first idea is creating, you said a modal with the GIF and maybe some text on the bottom. So something like,
Yeah. So kind of akin to our onboarding flow. Where like the first time you launch the app, we play a bunch of GIFs for you, show you how to use it. Yeah, that right there.
yeah.
GIF.
So
yeah, probably something similar
like
to that.
this, right? We could definitely like use some, like literally one of the onboarding pages, like this one, just replace the text, put the GIF for that, and at the bottom, instead of like, because we're not gonna have all of this, it could be like this one, then the GIF here. So it's a connect or authorize organizations. We can think about the text later, and then have like the button here, like come to your organizations, and then he's gonna move to that thing. Or we could have onboarding, a tutorial that is like a couple of pages, and then at the end we have the button so he can start doing the process.
Right, and that's right. That's the other big option is literally adding it into this onboarding flow. So, I mean,
as well, yeah, we could add it to the onboarding.
and when I pitched that to you, you literally, and I don't disagree, but the first thing you said was, "Are organizations that important?" And it's like,
yeah.
I guess it depends on your expectations of the app, but
yeah. Because already we have like 4, and like, yeah, we can add it to the onboarding, but how much confusion is it gonna generate to the user to have as their first experience a web view?
Ooh,
right?
And you know what else, man? You have to be connected to GitHub first to enable organizations anyways. So instead of right now, we end with the connect to GitHub button. So either you select connect to GitHub or you select try demo. And then we would have to do the organizations, the enable organizations. Whereas right now, the flow is really nice because as soon as you connect to GitHub or as soon as you say try demo, the app launches or the main part of the app launches. And like you're immediately greeted with all of your repositories and your views and clones. And you're like, ooh, I like this.
So that's what I was saying. Like if we add organizations, then they're not gonna get immediate feedback that the app is working, it's working natively, everything is good. The immediate feedback is gonna be another one of these, and this one is gonna take them to that horrible web view zoom out stuff, and then
Right.
they're gonna eventually come back, but they're already like pissed off at at that web view. So they're gonna be like, oh, okay, so it's the rest of the app also kind of like funny like this or
Is it
something.
all super janky? So,
Yeah.
and just another fun fact, I was just looking at the number of users who hit the skip button versus the number of users that actually swipe through the entire onboarding. And looking at the data for the iOS app right now, it looks like it's about the same. So about 50% of users just tap skip and then we'll connect to GitHub. And then the other half will actually swipe through it. So, yeah, if half the users already are ignoring the onboarding flow, maybe that's not a great place to put something kind of critical like this. So,
Yeah.
I'm kind of talking myself out of putting it there. So we could have like, we could probably reuse a bunch of this code, this onboarding carousel stuff, but we'd have to have like we'd call it something like organizations onboarding.
Yeah.
And we could put in some like kind of cheeky text that's like, don't hate us. It's not our fault. This is just the way GitHub works. I know it sucks.
Yeah.
We'll get through this.
Yeah. So yeah, it could be, it doesn't have to be too long. It could be like 3 slides or even one with just the GIF. If we want to be like, as you said, like cheeky and have them understand that they're gonna go through some traumatic UI UX in just a bit. We can like ease it into them and then, okay, now tap the button and go solve the thing, right? So what do you want to do first? The single page, or want to structure the whole onboarding, like three pages for the onboarding, or just a model with the GIF? Because the other
Good
option
question.
is just like on top of the settings here, just have like literally
Like
a
an overlay.
pop up here and overlay something here and have the GIF.
I mean,
and then a button.
Honestly, I mean, it's almost semantics at this point, right? Like, I would call this like a carousel view, whereas if we take over the whole page, it'd be like a carousel page. Yeah, maybe we just do the carousel view like this because it would be less jarring. Because if you think about it from the user experience, they're just tapping this switch. They're just toggling a switch. And usually when you toggle a switch, right, like usually a switch doesn't open up a new page or anything crazy like that. So yeah, I think probably having this, how you have it here, where this would be more of like a carousel view, would probably be more intuitive and less jarring. Like, whoa, like I was just trying to enable organizations. Why'd you launch a web browser? That doesn't, what?
Yeah.
Oh, you grabbed the SVG. Nice.
Yeah. I'm getting this SVG.
Ironically, that was also difficult to get. So,
so where do you get it? Because that's what I was gonna ask as well.
So GitHub has open sourced all their icons. Octacons is what they call them. Here, let me share. I'll share this link with you if you want to pull up that page. So basically, all their SVGs that they use on the GitHub portal are available for anybody to use. You can use them for free. There's some rules and stipulations. They say like, don't edit them. Like if you're going to do it, stay true to it. And so they have an organization SVG, but well, I don't want to point fingers. All I'll say is GitTrends renders SVGs using a library called ffimageloading.svgs, which is ffimageloading. Fantastic library. I recommend every Xamarin developer use it. But for some reason, ffimageloading couldn't render the SVG that I downloaded directly from GitHub. And that was also hours of my life that I lost because I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, obviously this is something that I did wrong because it's not working. And it turned out that it just, I mean, I don't know much about SVGs, but something about the way the SVG is written or generated that ffimageloading can't handle it. So I don't know. Maybe there's a new SVG protocol because the same SVG that wouldn't load in the app using ffimageloading would load fine in the browser. So I'm thinking maybe ffimageloading probably just hasn't updated a codec. I don't know if SVGs and codecs are a thing, but yeah, I mean, the organization SVG that GitHub uses is very similar to this. It's like a office building with like another building behind it. So because that didn't work, I just went off looking for a similar SVG that would still evoke the same emotions or same maybe emotions isn't the right word, but kind of you can see it at a glance. And if you've ever used organizations on GitHub, you'd be like, oh, yep, that's the organization icon.
Yeah.
And that's what I found.
Yeah, I think it definitely works. It follows as well the style of the other icons we're using. So yeah, definitely
thanks.
good pick.
I thought so too. But again, like lost half a day to that because couldn't figure out why my code was broken and just kept assuming it was me and something I was doing wrong. But that's okay.
Yeah. So what about so what do we want to try? We want to try this pop-up here?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anything about color palettes, but in my mind's eye right now, I see a little GIF right there. Yep, that's like, or maybe we just start with an image first to say something like, all right, let me talk this out. Should we introduce what organizations are? Because there's a possibility that you can use GitHub and you can just use it for fun on the side and you never join an organization and you just kind of, you toggle this, you get through this whole, we'll just call it an onboarding flow, and then you have no organization. So it's like, so I always feel like the first page should say something along the lines of like we could probably just show the same SVG for the icon and say, actually, maybe there's text on the GitHub webpage that like, it's like, what is GitHub organization? Let's see what GitHub says. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Organizations are shared accounts where businesses and open source projects can collaborate across many projects at once. Owners and administrators can manage. So hold on, let me just share this link with you. This is just the official GitHub docs. I think probably the first page should be just what is an organization? And we could probably just rip that sentence right there. I don't know if we need the second sentence, but
oh yeah, this one, no? Onto the all the way to the dot.
Yeah, exactly. So just kind of like, what's an organization? So if somebody who's not in one clicks the button, then they could probably just swipe to dismiss this page. And then probably, how should we do this? I mean, if it's a carousel view, you'll see the next carousel kind of on the side of the page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we could just have like an arrow at the bottom that says swipe to continue.
Have you seen, where Where did I see this? It's like, I know what you mean. Like, you see, we can take let me show it, because I don't know how to express it
Like
right
this
now.
page would be a little bit narrower, and then you'd see like the other
yeah,
carousel
I
views
get what you're saying. Yeah.
peeking in. And so
Yeah, exactly.
At
It's
the-
like you have this, and then you have another one like here.
yes.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. I
Yeah.
like
Oh, perfect. So
You have to
at the
find a way
bottom of
to-
this, instead of having the indicator view, well, I guess we could have the indicator view, but we could just have like an arrow pointing to the right that says like continue, and then kind of indicating the user like swipe
but
right.
inside of this, right? Inside of the white area. Let me put the font a
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah, exactly. Like
more.
the bottom just, it says there's text that just says maybe continue or something along those lines, and then an arrow pointing to the right. So it's like, oh, swipe this way to continue. And again, it's just kind of that nudge, like, hey, user, you probably see this, but in case you don't, we'll be really explicit that you got to go that way. I guess that way. Looking at myself in the stream.
Continue.
Yeah. And we could grab like a arrow SVG or something like that once we've got everything mocked up a little more. So yeah, the first page is like, what is an organization? I wonder if the second page should be there's a why and a how. So like the why being like, why does this process suck? Like, so the why would be something along the lines of organization, like GitHub requires you to manually authorize access to organizations for each app. And that's kind of like the why we're doing this. And then the next one, maybe the last one, is the how. And that's where we show the GIF of like scrolling down. So be what, why, how.
Oh, okay. What?
Because yeah, the first one's like, what is an organization? So that if you don't have any organizations, you can just dismiss it.
Okay.
Be like,
all right. So
I don't know what that is. I'm not going to waste my time.
What, why, and how. Yeah, I like that. All right. So why? Your shared what? It didn't take the text. Organization repos and GitTrends, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. And like,
and then you said
I'm going to be throwing GitHub way under the bus. Be like, this is GitHub's fault. Don't blame me for it. I understand it's dumb. In nicer terms, but GitHub fault.
2021.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. So yeah.
Or just update your documentation so we can just add this to the OAuth flow.
Yeah.
Still GitHub's fault.
So yeah. So okay. And here we're gonna put the Y. So what are we gonna have in the top? So wait, this is what? For this one. This is do you want the icon? Oh, maybe illustration or something?
Yeah, probably just the icon. Yeah, I think the only one that really needs a GIF is the how. Ooh, and actually at the bottom of this carousel page, we should have, or maybe not the bottom, but probably in the middle, prominent, we have a button that says like, I don't know if it should say enable organizations or launch organization page, something like
But
that.
in this one or in all of them?
Just in the last one. So
Okay.
kind of like how the last carousel page, we have the connect with GitHub button. Yeah, yep, there you go. So
I was thinking the same thing.
yeah, this one will say, oh gosh, either because what it's going to do is launch the browser. So we could, yeah, like we could say something like that, or I'm trying to think of, is there a way that we can say this? Well, here's what I'm trying to say. God.
Yeah.
This button should basically, when the user taps it, they acknowledge that they will be opening the browser and be taken to the what's that page called? Enable organizations page.
Oh wait, I see.
Organization access page.
I see a comment here. Do you have the resource where you got the icons for GitHub?
Oh yeah, I dropped that in
chat
our chat. I don't have permissions to share it on the streams chat though.
Collaboration. Prime style. Oh, okay, I see it here. All right. Let me. So the user for each wants to have that source. So I'm putting it there on the chat.
Yep.
Perfect. All right.
Like I said, those are the official ones. You can use them in your apps, but there is a terms of service you should flip through real quick because things like this GitHub SVG that we're using right here, GitHub's cool with that as long as you don't edit it and as long as you stick to a specific color palette. So just looking out for you for each. I don't want you getting sued by big bad GitHub.
Let me put this a little bit down. So you were saying about the text for the button?
Yeah. I'm just going to word vomit this. It's definitely too much to put on a button, but something like launch. Let me pull up that screenshot I just sent to you. This page is called organization access. So launch organization access page. And that's not what I want, but that's what I want to imply. Like you are about to be taken to the organization access page and, try to avoid that jarring feeling of
manage
Safari
organizations or something like that. Like, but I don't like
manage
the word
organization
manage
access.
Let's see. The chat. If anyone has any ideas as well,
help us.
Put your idea there. Yeah. Access. So let me put this text a little bit smaller.
Yeah, or even it could be 2 lines.
Oh yeah, we can also make it to 9. Let's see. Manage organization access.
I don't love it, but
yeah,
I wonder how it'll feel because above this, in my mind, I'm picturing we have a GIF of the. Oh gosh, we'll probably have to make a GIF of like this page opening the Safari view controller, and then us scrolling down.
Can you zoom that Safari view controller or no?
Can't do anything with it. And again, it's good. That's the point, is that developers can't snoop on you when you're in the Safari view. I mean, we could go back to the old.
So maybe we can make like a custom little video instead of like recording the screen, like take screenshots and do like this slideshow videos.
Right.
And you can be like, okay, you're gonna click here, you're gonna click here, then here and here, and something like that, no?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a great idea. Because then we could have like some zoom and like maybe even like show a finger like clicking on the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe we can even use the web version to have a better resolution for the screenshots, and like the buttons are gonna look way like closer and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so this is going to be
Yeah, so with that, then this button could say something like just organization access or something like that.
yeah.
Especially if the GIF is showing that like, here's where you are now, here's what's about to happen, click, click, click.
Screenshots from the web version.
Ooh, we could even disable the button for 3 seconds so that like you're kind of forced to watch the GIF.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, this would be cheesy, but we could have a checkbox that says like, I confirm I saw the video.
I saw that.
Because yeah, anytime you have a button on the screen like this, especially when it's the workflow you're trying to accomplish,
yeah,
you're just gonna click the button as soon as you see it. Like,
yeah.
like continue. Geez, okay, fine, finally.
I agree. I sell my soul to you.
and then you'll get there and you'll just be confused. I mean, the checkbox is, I don't know. I mean, we could just have like, if the GIF is 3 seconds long, then we just have an activity indicator that spins for 3 seconds on top of the button. That'd probably be a little less cheesy, or I don't know. The checkbox just feels like, yes, I read the terms of service.
Or
which
like,
again,
are you
everybody's just going to click that.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think this. Maybe we can ditch the checkbox. So yeah, we can put an activity indicator. I would say just disable the button and enable it after a few seconds. Or we can add like, like the text we have on the splash screen, like it swipes, like it does a cool animation. We can maybe have like something cheesy as well, like view the GIF. It's almost over. Okay, now you can tap on the button.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do something like that. And then we enable the button and we hide the little marquee with the animation there, right?
Yeah. So I got distracted. My wife just reminded me I have to jump on another call in 10 minutes. So
yeah, we just went over.
We should probably wrap up.
Minutes. Yeah. Let's wrap up. We had, I would say we had a good progress in terms of having a workaround in terms if GitHub doesn't get back to us on how we can use their authentication flow to enable organizations. We pretty much have this nice cool idea that I think looks good with the UI we have at the moment. We're gonna have this carousel for explaining to the user what are the GitHub organizations, why he has to enable it, the way he's gonna have to enable it. And then we're gonna have a little cool GIF that we're gonna have to work on as well. Create like the screenshot from the web version. And I'm starting to like this idea of using the animation here. Look, like even how briefly without even formatting it or anything, giving it like proper text size, it already like looks like a good idea. So yeah,
I think we're onto something.
definitely. So when will our next session be? Should we stick to one a week for now, or until we have this a bit more polished in terms of the UI, or do you want to pick up again the 2 sessions per week?
Yeah, let's stick to one a week. I'm pretty slammed right now, but
Yeah, me too.
yeah, let's do this, and maybe we'll find out that Saamer heard back from
Yeah.
the guy who created Code Hub, and maybe we don't even need to do this. But until then, we gotta do it.
Yeah, and should we stick to what? To Wednesday or Friday? Which one is gonna work better for you?
Yeah, we can stick to Wednesday.
Yeah, works for me as well. Well, Brandon, it was great seeing you again. We have like 4 months without working on this, but definitely excited to talk about this new problem we have. And yeah, I'll see you next week. And thank you everyone for joining.
Bye, everybody.
Take care. Bye.